Okay, now we're working on matrices, specifically inverses. And if you read the book, hoping you did, then our inverse matrix for a 2 by 2, and by the way, we can only get inverses on square matrices, is the matrix 1, 0, 0, 1. If we multiply any matrix by that, then we'll get the original matrix back. Now, this is helpful because if I want to find an inverse from a matrix, then I set up my matrix, and then next to it I set up the inverse matrix. And I am going to do operations to make the left side look like the inverse. And then math will be done on the right side, and that will be my inverse. I'm sorry, to look like the identity matrix. When I'm done, I will have my inverse. So I want to make the left side look like the right side. And the first thing I'm going to do, and then I don't care what happens to the right side, the first thing I'm going to do is switch the two rows, because my second row already has what I want, which is a 1 in the first column, first row. And that'll save me some time. The way we work on this is we work on the left column and then we move over to the right column. Oops, I need to make sure that the right-hand side of that row follows. Okay, so I've got a 1 in first column, first row, and I need a 0 in the first column, second row. The way I can do that is to take my first row and multiply it by a -3. And then I'm going to combine that with the second row. And when I combine those, I'm going to get my new row 2. That will have a 0 exactly where I want it. Okay, I'm going to turn the video off and on, otherwise it's going to be a very long video while I rewrite stuff. So you can see that I copied that new row 2 into the matrix. All right, now I'm going to look at the second column. In the second column, first row, I need a 0. Now, this is kind of nice because if I combine the row 1 with row 2, I will get a 0, and that'll be my new row 1. Combine it with row 2. And this is my, new row 1. 1, 0. And 1 and 1 and -3 is -2. All right, so I'm going to rewrite my matrix. Okay, on the left-hand side, I almost have the identity matrix. I just need a 1 in the second row, second column, and I can do that by just dividing that by -2. Let's call that multiplication by 1/2. Okay, multiplying the second row by 1/2, I get 0, and it should be a -1/2, so I can get a +1. 0, 1, and then -1/2, and it looks like a +3/2. I copy that over, rewrite my matrix. So on the left side, I have the identity matrix, and on the right side is the inverse matrix of 1, -2. You can probably put 0.5 and -1.5 into XYZ. All right, first example. See you on the next video.